Hello, party people. Episode 6, season 1. Here we are with a continuation of our last episode, answering questions from our audience. We've got some good, last conversation was so juicy, and we literally only got through 4 questions because we had so much to say about the things. And so much of it is about giving yourself permission to just go for it, right? I think that's where a lot of the questions have come from. And if I may start with
Yes, please.
a question. Somebody wrote in and said, excuse me, how did you, what was the exact, there it is. How did you know that this was the right path for you?
I always go with how I feel, and then especially if it just flows off the back of a conversation and it flows naturally, you have to really pay attention to those signs, especially if it doesn't have to be forced. You can see the connection there and then, and you just feel good because that's something Sabrina shared with me, that always, whenever you're feeling low, always focus on the things that make you feel good and then lean in it more. And knowing that, I can help people makes me feel good. Because especially if I haven't felt like I have had that help, I want to be there for other people, I always preach people remember how they made you feel and all of that. Oh, Sabrina, what about you?
Man, I think it is everything that you just said about it feeling right. It's just like in a relationship, right? When you're dating, you I hope you don't do this. Like, you have a checkbox of all the things you want in a day, and regardless of how he is to you or she is to you or they are to you, that's the person you're gonna marry. No,
Right.
it has to feel right? It's the same. I think so much of this is about, being really aware with your emotions, and just like Caroline said, noticing how things feel. Like, for example, the network marketing business that I've been building for the last 7.5 years, the company just restructured our business. So the network marketing part of it doesn't exist anymore, right? So I can still work with the company as an affiliate. So all of this has been restructured. And so many people within that network are jumping, to start going and joining this company, and they're starting this next network marketing company, and they jump in ship all over the place. And the amount of people that have asked me, Sabrina, where are you going? I'm not going anywhere. Like, there's a reason why I chose the network marketing company that I was with, and no other company gives me that same feeling. No other company gives me that same level of, this makes so much sense for me.
Yeah.
No other company I feel so aligned with that it's so natural to build something for that amount of time. So I'm not joining another network marketing company because it doesn't feel right for me. No shade to anybody that's doing that, but it doesn't feel good to me. Literally,
No,
I have zero interest. And so being really aware of how things feel, and not just doing it because you think you should, or following the pack. Like, I definitely had a moment where I was like, I had a bit of FOMO. I was like, oh, this person that I really respect is going over here. This leader that I really look up to, they're doing this. Maybe I need to go and do that. And I did question myself a couple of times, but then I came right back to myself and I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
And you have to go with your first, when you first think you don't want to do it, keep that there, right? Because you will get so many things that the universe, whatever, will try to, let's just dangle the carrot to see if they're going to take it. Remember that first feeling, because there's a lot of people following the uplines, following the people to do that. And it doesn't, the reason, and then all that's going to happen is you ain't going to be successful. Why is that? Because you haven't done it because of you. You've done it because of someone else. Right?
Marketing.
This, this. It's that, honestly. You have to pay attention.
I knew Caroline was going to get fired up by that sentence. I knew it. But it's true. People blame the business model for not working, when it's because they're not doing the work because they don't love it, or they're not aligned with it, or they're not prioritizing their time in the right way, like we talked about in the last episode, or whatever. So I think for me, if it's not a full body hell yes, it's a no.
Don't do it.
It's a no. It's a no.
Don't do it. And then even that, it's not that you know, me and Sabrina, when we'd come together, we have the same work ethic. We have the same discipline as well. You know, when I knew it was all going to work because it was the fact that if we say we're going to jump on a call, we jump on that call, and it's like 1% of the time we need to rearrange it and stuff like that. So that's where it worked as well. You need to make sure it just all aligned for us. And you know, you already know me and Sabrina used to work together, and now it's just the universe wanted us back together again, but with something else. So the feeling, pay
Yeah.
attention to your feeling, pay
Pay
attention to those
attention.
butterflies. That gut feeling is there for a reason. When you know something, especially when you're in doubt, that's when you
Mm,
don't do until you're
mm,
100%. Just
mm,
don't do. Ah, feelings, guys, pay attention to it.
mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Oh,
What
yeah, sorry, I
question
was
do you
like,
have there,
next,
guys?
yeah, oh, okay, question I have, right? This is a good one. What is the biggest lesson you've learned this year and how has it helped you today? I
Ah,
just saw your eyes go,
that
ooh.
is a good one. The biggest lesson I've learned this year, and it's not related to business, but everything can always come back to
Mm-hmm.
how you operate in your business, is be when people show you who they are, believe them.
Right?
That's
That's a good one. That is a
when
good one.
people show you who they are, believe them. I think we were having this conversation a couple of days ago too
We
about
were.
like different topic, but that I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned this year, and it's a hard lesson to learn because it can involve a separation of certain relationships in your life or people in your life, and it usually comes with some kind of conflict that doesn't feel good. You know, conflict never feels good. It never feels good to be in those situations in
Yep.
relationships. But is it not better to learn that lesson so that you can cut the ties that you need to cut and move forward than holding on to an idea of who you think people are in your life, and then when you need them most, that's when
They're not.
they're not there.
It's that. It is that. Oh man, that's a good one. My one is slowly, like for me, right? I used to always think how I was. And if I was always nice, caring, respectful to other people, truthful, I was immediately going to receive that back.
Mm,
What I've learned, especially the start of this year, not everyone has your best interests at heart. So if anything, you have to actually put a protection over yourself at some times
mm, mm,
and know when to step back. And it was one thing that I'd read a quote, and it was, some people deserve an explanation, some deserve an answer, some deserve your silence. But it's
mm,
identifying when you use those ones, because it's that's been the biggest lesson for me this year. Not everyone has your best interests at heart, you
mm.
know.
Isn't it funny how both of ours were about relationships and how people show up for you? And I think that it kind of plays into a fear that I think a lot of people have about stepping out and starting their business and having the audacity to go the road less traveled and do something for themselves because they fear judgment, right? They fear some people are going to judge me, people are going to say something about me, or the people in my life, they're not going to stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I think is really important to understand, I have two things. Neither of them are like quotes from me, but from women that I greatly admire. Mel Robbins says, let
Mm.
them, right? However people want to be, however they want to treat you, let them.
Let them.
Let them just do it. Like if somebody doesn't invite you to dinner and you get your back up about it, you feel upset about it, let them go to dinner. Just
Let
let
them.
them. Like, let that go of all the emotion that comes with the way other people behave. Let them, right? And then the
That.
second
Let
one
them.
is, what was the second one? It was so good too. Similar kind of message. But the second one is if they wanted to, they would. And that, from especially in relationships, I think, because we hold on to an idea of who we think somebody is, and then we make excuses for them not doing certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't call me when they say they're going to. They didn't, show up for me in that certain way that I expected them to. They said yes, but now they're avoiding me. If they wanted to, they would.
Would. They would. Good one.
I think
Such a
that
good one.
those just give you so much peace in just being able to like that, especially that let them one. Like just let people do whatever they're going to do. Let them. and
And
remove your own emotional, like, vulnerability from being part of that thing.
literally, sorry, in the words of Elsa from Frozen, let it go, let it go, let them go, let them go.
That is such a classic. I don't think Elsa from Frozen is celebrated enough because that
Cut!
song,
No!
let it go, and
And
that's hard to do. It's hard.
it is
It's
hard.
hard to remove your emotional, like how your emotions are tied up in other people's behavior. It's hard. But are you not showing up to build your business because they put you in a bad mood? Is that what's happening? Because if that's what's happening, they are stealing your future from you.
You know?
You're
And
allowing them to do that.
I am going to share on my social media in a few days the fact that I did another half marathon, right? I got like over 70 likes. Probably half of them are friends and family who I haven't met on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have about 14 comments. And what I'm going to share on social media is out of all those 14 comments of people commenting, only one of them I met off social media.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? So,
mm,
and there's so many, and I'm sharing that because so many people don't show up because of people they know, or they will
mm,
let them block them from doing something that fulfills them because of the people around them that actually tell them not to or won't support them. When it's just sharing the fact that you will find it, you know. Sorry, that just spoke to me and wanted to share that
yeah.
piece because
No, it's
it's
so
like,
true.
you
It's
know,
so true.
that
Like, people are like, one of the things that I get from the people that I mentor in their businesses a lot is I'm afraid to show up on social media because I'm afraid of people judging me or people, being mean, these haters that come along or whatever.
I
It's really
was like,
sad to
let
say,
them.
but it's actually like the people that I met on social media that are my biggest supporters.
Yes,
My family and friends, no shade, but I honestly think they just don't really get it. They just don't
they
really
don't.
get what it is that I'm doing here. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really understand what it is. So they don't get involved with my social media at
And
all.
now I know
At
why
all.
a lot of my audience is American.
Yeah. Like my friends and family don't really
They
they
don't.
don't
Neither
no.
mine. Yeah.
No. Like the people that are cheering for me are
Mm-hmm.
strangers that I met on social media.
Right. And
So
probably not even met in person.
and not met in person, the majority of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really understanding that, and it's not bad necessarily that your friends and family aren't the ones out here with their pom poms and doing the whole thing. But
Mm-hmm.
if that's the thing that's going to stop you from showing up because nobody's cheering for you, cheer for your damn self at
Yes.
first until you have an audience that can cheer for you.
Yes. That's what we had to do.
That's what we had
That's
to
what we had to
do.
do. And a lot of you lot are here today listening to this podcast on the back of us having to share with you lot what we're out here doing, why we're doing it, and even that it probably took a couple of years for you listening to connect with us, you know. So we're sharing a lot of what our journey and how the process happens. And now
Yeah.
where we've had you lot there for a few years following us and supporting us, now you're here on the podcast.
Yeah. And it's so funny because just a silly example, and I'm sure somebody needs to hear this,
Mm-hmm.
but when I first started building my business, do you know how long it took me to get my first what they call cold market sale? So that's somebody who just met you on social media, like knew nothing about you as a real human being in person, like because that's all your warm market people is the
Yeah.
people that already know you, like you, trust you, whatever. How long it took me to get my first cold market sale. So purely a connection made on social media that then converted to somebody who bought into my business, who is still to this day a client. It took me 18 months from the day I started my business to getting my first cold market sale. 18 months before my
Mm.
social media started converting into client like my client base. 18
Yeah.
months. And now 99.97% of my client base is my social media.
Yes, literally, or people you haven't, literally don't even know. And I was just thinking that my same as well. Like, I'll have to backtrack and look, but definitely wasn't the first year for me with my cold market. It was people that knew me at first, and obviously, and it wasn't even straight away from me joining and then them wanting to jump on. It was them seeing me, do it for 30 days, 21 days
Mm-hmm.
to be precise,
Mm-hmm.
and then they
Mm-hmm.
saw the results. Then they joined,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw what I was using, how I'd gone the journey, and then yeah, so you're right. My first cold one, it probably was.
Mm-hmm.
It could have even been 2 years, but I am going to have a look and backtrack and see.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because there's such.
People get so
There's,
impatient about that. They're like, oh, I didn't make a sale in my first day. This
well,
clearly isn't for me.
I didn't know. I
Well,
didn't have to
no,
brush my teeth when I come
if
out my
that's
mum.
what you're gonna think, then it's not for you.
Not for you.
It's
Not for you. Oh, and that was one more thing as well I thought about is, you know, people want it straight away, but look how long it's even. I wanted to backtrack it to just like brushing your teeth.
Mm.
That was something we did from when we was young. Day, 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 day. Now we're doing it just as like we're breathing. That's how long you got to do something before you even
Mm.
start seeing the effect of you not even having any emotion to it because you're so in rhythm and routine that you're just doing it naturally. That's where you need to get when it comes to business building and even developing yourself.
It needs to
Hmm.
become habitual. It needs to just be. It's just what you do. This is just what we do. You wake up in the
Come with
morning, you
that
do
big
your
word,
things. There's not
habitual.
even.
I'm learning
there's
from Sabrina here.
there's just like no question. Like we don't negotiate with ourselves. We don't wake up in the morning and say, "Do I feel like working my business today?" No, of course
Mm.
we don't. We've got chefs to hire. We don't ask questions like that, right? We just. Caroline shared in the last episode, if you didn't listen, that that's her goal. Like she does meal prep now because one day she's going to hire a chef so she doesn't have to do any of that shit, right?
If there's ever a day where I say to Sabrina, I can't today, she's gonna be like, well, you're stepping away from your chair.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
I'm like,
let's go.
go. You got chef. You got a chef to put into business. But you've got, if you think about the big picture reason you're doing any of this stuff, that's what you're doing it for. We talked about that in the last session, what you're doing it for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have time to sit there and go, oh, do I feel like working my business today? No, it's not an option.
Nope.
Is brushing your teeth in the morning an option? I hope not. I hope it's not just something. Do I feel like doing that today?
I'm
I
so
hope
sorry.
that that's not a
Can I
legit
claim
question.
that? Can we claim that as the title for this one? Is brushing your teeth an option?
Certainly hope not.
Claimed.
Claimed it. Because truly, it's like, why is it that you sit there and say, oh, I don't know whether I really feel like it. Like, do it.
No.
If you're that serious about the change that you want to create in your life, it has to be a non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what we do.
Right. Oh, there's business building tasks. They call it income producing tasks, non-negotiables of the day. Those are what we have to get done. Same way we have to brush our teeth, wash our skin, wash our face, get dressed before we step outside. There's things we have to get done daily in business. Sabrina, how long we got left? I feel like we're already coming up to
We
30 minutes,
got,
but
yeah, we got like
no.
12 minutes. 12
But then
minutes.
I've got another question that will finish us off nicely. All right.
Okay,
And
so
it
let me
is
ask my one then, just in
go.
case.
Perfect.
Curious. Oh, no. We did that one. What was the moment where you knew you were on the brink of your first success milestone? What was the moment where you knew that you were on the brink of your first success? That's a great question.
It is. And I feel like it's going to sound so like maybe cliche to say, but it's after you get through something so tough and challenging. But that's what it is for me anyway. It's not object, it's not money. It's the fact that when you push through something so hard and you were telling yourself the whole time, how are you going to keep going? You're crying. Sorry, I'm talking about a certain time in my journey, right? Crying, going to your mum and dad, like daily, going to your partner saying this is hard. How am I going to get through? Having sleepless nights. And then once you've done it, it's like, hold up a minute. What was all that noise about, Caroline? Even I used to do it in work, and it's the fact that I used to complain about something, think I couldn't do it, and then when I did it, I would look back and be like, what was I complaining for? And that was when I was going through a lot of challenges, juggling work and business, and it's that, like I said, it's not the money, it's not the ranks, it's the fact that you get through something so hard in life when you felt like you was not going to get through it, and then you're like, that's it. And if anything, all me and Sabrina have done is we've faced so many obstacles and challenges in life and we've got through it. That's why we are now unstoppable. Nothing is going to stop us or deter us on this path. So many people run away when it gets tough, when you're actually meant to stand still and keep going, because success is on the other side of that obstacle. Sorry,
Preach it.
Sabrina.
Preach it. Ah, like that emoji with the man with his mouth open and the lines, like that, all of that, all of that. It really is like you learn something about
Hmm.
yourself when you get through a hard season and you didn't break, right?
That
When you get
didn't
through,
break.
when you don't break, not you're going through a hard season, your business falls off so that you can manage all the things. And then I'll pick that up if when we get to the other
Right?
side of this. No, when you're going through a really hard time and you keep showing up for this, you keep, like, for me, this is going to be ridiculous. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Sabrina, you're ridiculous. Like, there was no need for that. But I had a breast cancer scare 6 years ago. And it was just after we moved across the country and we moved across the country again. So let's keep all the good juju in its right place. But I had a breast cancer scare about 6 months ago. They found a lump in my breast, and immediately my doctor didn't like the way that it looked, the way that it felt. So went through all the scans, all the MRIs, all the mammograms, did all the things, ended up having to have surgery to take it out because they just didn't like it. And it came back that it was benign. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. So I was on the bed of the operating room, like not the operating room, in the like prep room where they get you ready and you lay there, and the person that gives you the drugs
Hmm.
comes in to like inject you before they take you. I was lying there doing my non-negotiables for my business that morning of my operation, thinking I possibly have breast cancer. I was lying there doing the non-negotiables that I had to get done to continue to move my business forward. And some people like Gio thought I was ridiculous. My husband was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, well, one, it keeps my mind off of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it puts my energy in a constructive place. But two, I know what I'm doing this for. And yes,
Yeah.
this might seem extreme to some people, but that's the level of my tenacity, I guess, and the level
Hmm.
of my belief. Because if I didn't believe that what I wanted to create was possible, do you think I would have been doing that?
Right. But then also, this is where you need to treat your business like a job, because how many people would still have shown up for job if they had to go to an appointment? Do you know what I mean? So it's that. And Sabrina, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that,
No,
because I can only
absolutely.
imagine how you were feeling and what you were going through. And exactly that. So many people would have just been like, no, I'm now like something going through this. That's it. I have to that, focus on it. I can't do nothing, where she carried on going. And it's that people are going to think she's probably silly, but I'm here thinking, no, you've just inspired me to a whole nother level, Sabrina. I didn't think you could even do that. I'm already here. I'm already a fan, and it's just like, what? You know?
Yeah.
And, it's,
It's kind of like figuring out what what is it for you that would make you do that. For some people it's their kids, right? No
yeah.
matter what, like if you're a parent, no matter what was going on for you personally, you would get up, feed those kids, dress those kids, take those kids where they need to go, do all the things for those kids. Yes.
Hmm.
Like anyone listening as a parent, they would agree with that.
Yep.
So I'm not a parent, so I don't have that comparison, but I kind of see my business as my baby. And so I'm like, this is what I do. I don't make excuses. I don't say, oh, I'll get to that if I get to that. I show up. And the thing that I want to create for my life personally, but also the difference that I want to make in the lives of other people, like that can't somebody out there needs to hear what we have to say today. So
Yes.
if I'm over here feeling sorry for myself and being in my feels and like, oh, I don't really feel like it, that person doesn't get what they need to get today. And
Hmm.
not that we're anyone's savior. I'm not putting us on a pedestal. I'm just saying that so much of life is human to human connection, right? So much of feeling as if you're seen and heard and appreciated is because you connect with another human being. So it's bigger picture than just the hopes and dreams that I have, even though those are the things that do drive me forward. It's about what that person out there, what they need to hear. And I'm potentially the person that can give them what they need today. That's big
Right.
enough for me to show up even when I don't feel like it.
That is a leader. Sabrina, you are a leader. Because even that, for the fact that Sabrina still showed up, there's people that have smaller obstacles than what Sabrina just went through, and then they wouldn't show up. And if anything, people then should look at that story as inspired to continue showing up. Not to compare if you were going through something that might not seem as big as that, but it's the fact that we can still keep going and we're meant to keep going. Sometimes these obstacles are placed there to see what we're going to do and if we're easily going to give up. I literally tell myself, the universe is, when I'm having a tough day, I'm like, universe, test you, Caroline. Now you got, if anything, be more focused and be more prepared for what might come. Should we lead it on to the last one?
Yes.
Last question, yeah? So
Yes.
it's this one, listeners. Sabrina, what is the key takeaway for listeners who have tuned in?
The key takeaway from this conversation or from the podcast so
Just
far?
from podcast so far.
The key takeaway.
What's the first thing that pops into your head?
I hope what people get is that they see two women who don't really have it all figured out, who are still deep in their own processes of growth and change and creation. You see us and you think, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yes. You know, and it's back to just repeating what Sabrina said. We're not putting ourselves on a pedestal. I'm store manager in retail. I'm not anything special, but I am making myself something special, you know, and I'm putting myself out there. And it's that you can have this too. We want you not to take away the fact that find what makes you happy, find what fulfills you, and start using that and working towards creating the life you want out of it, because you can. You can. Find out. Oh my gosh! You have to. And that's literally what you have to do. And if anything, that should be the little box for you to say, if you try it first, you will know the feeling. You will know if it feels good. And you will know, no, okay, need to do something different, you know, or no, this actually feels good. I can level up and enhance on it. Just go find out. Go find out. Let them. If they wanted to, they would. Oh, that was some golden nuggets I wrote down today. Yeah! Yeah! Yes.
That's great. Like, we love it.
Yep. Sabrina, I can't even. 3 weeks. 4 weeks next week. Yeah.
Right. Thanks,
and on that
fam,
one,
on your social
it would.
All right.
Have a nice one. See ya.